Hello, hello, hello. Good morning and welcome. You are on the mountain with Rick, and it is time for Random Ass Mondays. But first, broth tea. Some good broth and some tasty tea. How y'all doing out there in Twitchland slash YouTubeville tonight? I tell you what, woo! We got a pack on the mountain. Hell yeah, I have not actually seen these chests yet. I thought I saw that motherfucker shaking. 7 alchemies, 5 alchemies, 4 alchemies, 5 fire callers, and 1 SPS. Alright, we got 2 packs. The question is to sell or to open. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer. Do you? Do you know what we're going to do with these packs? Oh, fuck, that broth is hot as shit. It is August 8th. This motherfucker 1 minute ago posted July has come to a close. Bruh, you're a little late. Yo, yo.
Hello. How are you?
Pretty fucking good. How are you?
Meh. I'm okay.
I just got another pack to sell, so.
Oh, well then you must be doing fucking amazing. You just made $1.20 something.
And 1 SPS.
Wow. Mind blown.
I know, right? But it's cool because we actually do have another Chaos pack that I didn't immediately realize today. Oh, actually, let's go. Whoop. Splinterlands. And switch this over to Hive Engine.
This is how you get rich playing Web3 games.
I probably should actually sell it for DEC on the in-game market rather than on the Hive Engine, but I don't fucking care.
Yeah, me.
Wait, why do you say 0 chaos? I should have one there too. Or maybe I had 2 in-game, and now I will get them both.
So when you said that we were gonna watch the thingy tonight, I stopped watching it.
Yeah, but I've been waiting for you to get here so that I could start it.
I appreciate it. But I do have to say that having watched part of it, I don't know if I should preface what's to come with this or say it later.
Oh, I watched a few more minutes of it as well. So, go ahead and say what you want to say, I guess. I ain't scared.
If what I saw today is what they released as Lamb.5, it's one of the most disgraceful moments in the history.
They actually did show it off? I thought that I heard Weirdbeard say that they weren't even ready to show it yet.
Weirdbeard showed a 3-minute video. I don't know how long I made it, but if this is what it is one of the most disgraceful things I've seen in Web3. Aside from like the massive library of cards and the calculation of their PP. This is like the most basic shit ever. It feels like they started working on it 2 weeks ago. Like,
All
it's
right.
garbage.
Well, I guess let me go to our little three-way chat and go ahead and start this.
I'm mincing my words.
Which
I'm just in disbelief as to how anyone could trust this fucking joke.
Good evening, Pretoria. Man, it is super exciting to be here today. It is super exciting. There's this thing we've been talking about it for a while. It's called Pretoria, and we're gonna talk some details. We're gonna actually, give some information and let you guys know when it's coming. I just want to start off and say it's soon. Weirdbeard, is it today? Are we doing it today, right now?
Before we keep going, though, please be watching on the stream
I am.
and be ready to clip at like 7 minutes in. I want to have that clipped. I want to actually make a meme on that clip where he says we can't deliver a broken product and loses connection in the middle of it.
I'll very much try to do that.
Thank you, sir.
It's Alt X? Yeah, I think so.
I don't know a hotkey for it. I just know it's like right here on the Twitch stream.
Oh yeah, I got it. It is Alt X too.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Do I clip it once it happens, or do I clip it like a few seconds after it happens?
Wait, like end the clip when Weirdbeard says, "Did we just lose Aggie?" and cut it, and start it at the beginning of that sentence when he's talking about people complaining and whatnot about how long it's taking.
I will do my best.
What
to do that?
It's a very loaded.
I mean, we'll have,
I know.
We will have multiple chances. If you miss it, I can always just rewind the video. So
or shorten the whatever. Yeah.
But we got to. I'm going to go back and forth between dates. Is it today? Is everything going live today?
No.
Well, that's not the way that we're going to do things. Is it going to be by the end of the year?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's sometime in there. I'm just doing a little like tease. I don't know. I'm not much of a tease.
You half scared me. I responded to somebody on Discord and I hear today, and I was just I don't know, like lost all the blood in my head.
Yeah. Sticky Hick, I'm totally excited. This is we've been doing this forever, and it's been all encompassing and one of the biggest projects that we worked on as a company. And the damn thing is pretty damn close. How close is it, Weirdbeard? What do you want to say about it tonight?
I mean, we have a little bit of a announcement and update and everything that should get people's juices flowing. But I would say it is closer than expected.
Okay. Well, what do you want to share some of that announcement, or do you want to announce the announcement that in the next 5 minutes we're going to announce that announcement?
Yeah, I think more than anything we should get in here and remind people that this is our town square, which is a little bit more laid back than our town halls that we hold every other week. Those are the official business board meetings where you get to hear about all the inside stuff, and these town squares are way more of the Monty Python version of everything that we do around here.
I like to think of it as the Muppet Show, but
Oh, perfect.
whatever.
Yes.
All right, so yeah, I guess just a little bit about that. Just a little pregnant pause to keep you guys in suspense. Yeah, tonight is the town square. You guys are going to be welcome to speak. If you guys want to go hop in, you can raise your hand, and if you want to ask some questions, you can do the questions too. Just put it in bold, put it in all caps, and put that up there. And we'll go listen to your questions and try to do that. And also, just hey, please do your best to not like be horrific to any of the commentators or any of the other people. And then also, please don't put like truly naughty things into chat. All right, Weirdbeard, I'm dying to say some stuff, so I want you to say it before I say it, because if I say it, it might be wrong. But if you say it, it can't be wrong.
You're like a little boy who's about to pee his pants. Like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta go. We gotta get the baby out. We've been working on this baby for a long time, and we gotta get the baby out.
The announcement that we kind of been kicking around is that by the end of this upcoming weekend, we should hopefully have Land 1.5 out on the Mavs test server. That is our stated goal. We are still in QA periods. It is subject to everything is on fire. You guys don't get to see it. However, everything.
Big, however, there's a big caveat to this.
More than anything else, everything is subject to last minute polish and issues. But we really want to get something out for players to be able to touch, see, and know that it's real. So end of the weekend, you should be able to expect some updates going out onto the Mav server for you to start playing around with Land 1.5 and staking monsters on your land, clearing your land, and seeing what the whole experience is like.
Yeah. So this to me is awesome. It's also super daunting. This is a very large project. We've been super coy with the dates. But as a company, we're like dying to get this out. I'm dying to get this out. Matt's dying to get this out. I know Weirdbeard wants to get the baby out. If there's something broken, or if there's something that is like totally screwy, we're not just going to push out random whatever. These are a target window. If it gets pushed back, you guys are all going to yell at us, and we're going to tell you, look, bro, relax, it's coming, but we can't ship a broken product.
Do we lose Aggie?
Little bits at the end, but not everything has been completely tested. So if there are bugs that we find, which is also part of why we put it on Maz before it goes live.
All right. Clip.
Search project. We've been super coy with the dates.
There, yeah, we can start it right about there. Like, we've been super coy with the dates, and then through to did we lose Aggie?
I need to hear the thing I'm clipping, but
yeah, you can go ahead and turn it up. That's why I paused everything so that you can do what you got to do.
no, it is at max. I can't hear shit. Let me disconnect with you for a second.
Okay. Welcome back.
I believe I got it. I just put the thing roundtable voice chat.
Thank you. I just passed 4,500 supermarkets while you were doing
But
that.
as a company, we're like dying
I
to
should
get
probably
this
build
out.
a more powerful building.
Headstrong, artsy, passion fruit, cool cat.
Is that your password?
No, that's the title that it gave to the clip. I love Twitch clips fucking URLs.
Look, bro, relax. It's coming. but we can't ship a
I'm
broken
on the
product.
computer with the keyboard that doesn't work, and I haven't plugged in an external keyboard,
lose
so I
Aggie?
just called it
Little bits at the
LOL
end.
because the
But,
O button
not
does not
everything
work,
has been
nor does
completely
the Z
tested.
button.
So
That's hilarious.
look, bro, relax. It's coming. But we
I'm very
can't ship a
constrained.
broken
I can't even. I mean, maybe it's a sign, but I can't even get the Splinterlands because the S button does not work.
Ha.
Did we lose Aggie?
product. Little bits at the end. But not everything has been
It's
completely
not much
tested.
of a loss, though, to be honest with you.
If look, bro, relax. It's coming. But we can't ship a broken product.
Did we lose Aggie?
Little bits at the end. But not everything has been completely tested. So if look, bro, relax. It's coming. But we can't ship a broken product.
I mean, to be honest with you,
Did we lose Aggie?
Little bits at the
you
end.
haven't seen it
But
yet, so
not everything has
whatever.
been completely tested. So if
Well, you,
look, bro,
yeah, you can see it on the
relax,
stream right
it's
now.
coming,
It's hilarious.
but we can't ship a broken product.
No, I mean the clip of the actual them
Did we lose Aggie?
quote unquote
Little bits
showing
at the end.
off the
But not everything.
land system.
Okay.
It's also worth noting that Zuler, who's the Alcor guy, spokesman person, posted like a meme thing about like the 3 biggest, costliest things ever sold on Wax, and 2 of them were Splinterlands regions. And like he was kind of making fun of it because he didn't really understand what it was, which is fine. Like he didn't do anything wrong. But Splinterlands was quick to respond. Like, hey, asshole, you know? It was really like, wow, okay. You guys are pretty intense. And there are a bunch of Splinter boys, which is what I'm calling Splinterlands fanboys, also hopping to the defense. I mean, the thing is Rick, is that if what they deliver is not a complete product, and it's unjustifiable given how much.
Oh yeah, no,
time...
I've been saying for more than a year, if they deliver land and it's not amazing, the game dies.
Yeah,
like,
no, but like the game's not going to die right away because all the fanboys and I don't know.
No, it'll take a month.
It'll take more than a month. I mean, they'd have to put a shit ton into 1.6 before people realize that, oh, harvesting grain, using grain, selling grain, and something, researching the secret of Pretoria is not land. That's just a staking system.
Yeah, and honestly, especially like, I didn't even get all that far into it because as soon as they were saying that you still can't trade grain, it was like, wait a minute. When we fucking did the whole fucking land potions bullshit and we voted that shit down, as rightfully so, and then the secondary option came around, which was a little bit better, where you were buying the building in the box and the fucking all of that shit, and they said then that the grain that you were getting from that purchase was going to be tradable, that everything else was locked to the land, but that the fucking grain was going to be tradable. And now the shit is being supposedly delivered and grain is still not fucking tradable. Like,
grain is tradable with Splinterlands.
No, but that's not tradable.
No, I understand.
That's
what you're saying.
purchasable.
That's their loophole, I think.
No,
they're trying
because
to-
like it was specifically stated that with this purchase you get 1,500 grain or 15,000 grain, whatever the number of grain was. You get X amount of grain that will be tradable.
like I'm not known for my positivity, but I can understand why people who've been playing involved in this project for a long time are going to be like excited when this is released, just because land is finally here after what, a year and a half, 2 years?
But no, it's not.
Thereabouts?
No, the fuck
Sorry?
it's not.
I can't hear you.
I said, but no, it's not. No,
Right,
the
that's
fuck
the
it's
thing.
not.
But I understand why they'll be excited, though. I mean, they have a sentimental attachment to this game that I don't have, that might be blinding their objective judgment. But, like, it's just disgusting.
I concur. Like, I was actually very hopeful because it's like, okay, well, my second unstaking is going to hit Saturday. So if this actually does look good, then maybe we'll actually see a pump on SPS. And I'll be very glad that I've got a shit ton in the liquidity pool now. And if not, then I'm going to be very glad that I've got it unstaked and in the liquidity pool so I can pull it from the liquidity pool and fucking sell it.
See, the thing is, I understand that at your level and at some of our friends, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to speak for anybody, but like at my level, I have like $40 of SPS. It's not worth it for me.
Yeah, no, I get you. And it's not like I'm looking to enact that same strategy as other unnamed people and sell to buy back in lower.
Yeah. No, I completely get that. Yeah.
I started unlocking all of my cards.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Unstaking, unlocking, I am getting ready to move everything.
Wow.
Like, I'm not saying that I'm definitely going to completely get out of Splinterlands, but I am preparing to. I am opening my options.
I would say that the release of Land 1.5, I don't know if it's the best juncture to pull out.
I honestly, yeah, my question is, do I wait for it or do I get rid of shit first?
Yeah. I mean, how much value could you extract if you sold all your shit at current market value?
That is a good question. Let's the last time we looked at the SPS before anything became unstaked, it was a little under 420. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, I know that's not insignificant, but I don't think it's worth it either.
No, I get you. And then value of all accounts, cards 2,543.
Okay, that's different.
Nightmare packs $34. We're not going to count the hive power. Credits aren't movable, and 7 cents worth of DEC. Of course, that's not counting what's actually in the liquidity pools on BSwap either, which or on Hive Engine, which $57 in the liquidity pools.
See, the thing is like, I don't. The reason I don't.
Oh, and sorry,
one
more thing. Fine. I do currently have like 3,500 SPS on the market currently.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, when my first 4,600 came unstaked, I put 500 up at 0.07 Hive, 1,000 at 0.08, 1,000 at 0.09, and 1,000 at 0.1.
Oh, that's me. Sorry.
Oh, I totally thought that you were actually playing that like as a fucking
No,
Soundboard.
I tried to nap briefly when I got back, and I had set an alarm, and I was like, "Oh, fuck it."
It was perfect timing because it sounded like you were drawing attention to the fact that I'm selling my SPS.
That was literally Reveille, right?
Reveille, yes.
Reveille, Reveille.
I mean, that might be the proper French pronunciation, but I don't know if that's actually, unless is that an actual French word?
Yes, it means to wake up.
Then I guess that is what it is. I never knew that it was French. I always knew it as Reveille.
Do they actually play that shit in the barracks?
Depending on exactly where you are, but yes.
Oh my god.
And it is, something that I do often use as an alarm because it's effective.
Me too, because I sleep through a lot of the other alarms because I've normalized them. But this one is definitely not normal for me.
And yeah, it's definitely one that if someone is actually walking by with a fucking bugle and playing that shit, you are not gonna sleep through it.
If there's a will, there's a way. But what I was gonna say is my fear, apprehension, whatever you want to call it, is that if someone was to sell out now, I fear that prices will actually go up further just because of how gullible the player base seems to be. Like,
yeah, and I mean, honestly, like, I'm not expecting to sell out right beforehand. I'm very much hoping that this is going to cause a spike, and that is, I'm preparing to take advantage of that spike. But yeah, listening to just the first fucking 20 minutes, 30 minutes of this has made me think maybe I'm glad that I had already started making these moves because I need to be prepared to do it beforehand because thankfully I have access to the QA server.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll see what happens on Saturday if it's there. We'll see what happens on Monday if it's there because I will be, breaking that shit down for Splinterlands TV.
Do you have access to it through SPL TV?
Yes.
Basically? Okay.
Yeah, all Splinterlands TV streamers have it.
Oh.
Because we begged Rondon for long enough, and it finally got it. Actually, right before the Soulbound reward cards went live. Like, we were begging for it through Rift Watchers, and it didn't happen. But right before the Soulbound reward cards went live, we got to play with max level versions of every single one of them.
As someone who does not give two shits at this point about, violating TOC and all that jazz, I want to say something very clearly and earnestly, and this is my opinion and my opinion only, is that my lack of trust, my toxic negativity towards the future of this game is entirely premised upon the team, and more specifically aggro. I feel like I'm being gaslit when I watch a town hall or a town square. Genuinely.
No, I get it. It's hard to disagree with that. Like, mine has actually, I mean, it really started with DECB.
Yeah, I think I was around when DCB came out.
You were around, but you were brand new and you weren't really paying attention. But I'm sure you remember me and Holazor railing against that shit.
I believe I did. Yeah. Yes.
And that was when really I started to sour. And then between that and the Soulbound reward cards and just all of the shit that has been piled on top of everything, up until DECB, I believed in this team.
What's problematic for me, and is my perception of dishonesty on their part.
Exactly. Like DECB was a blatantly bad idea, just mathematically provably bad idea, and it was put forth by the team, and it was forced through by the team, and they just like pumped the ever living shit out of it and convinced enough people to not pay attention to the numbers and the math, and then they threw in the fucking vouchers on it at the last fucking moment and just made it that much fucking worse. Like, it was a bad idea without the vouchers. It was a terrible idea with the vouchers. And then they have done the same thing since as well. And it's like, okay, no. Y'all made a wonderful, magnificent, amazing fucking game. But since then, all you've done is fuck it up. Yeah. I love this fucking game. I hate what is happening to this game.
Yeah, since I don't have to censor myself in any way, shape, or form, I think that, and this is a big if, that if the crypto space was regulated, and it might not even need to be crypto space, like there may actually be some other crimes being committed here. But if the crypto space was regulated, there'd be indictments pending. But
I did everything right and they indicted me.
I would say that there's potentially the possibility of there being some fraudulent misrepresentation that no TOC can protect you from.
Right.
At the least, I think there could be potential civil liability. That would be so much fun if there was a class action suit against Splinterlands. But with 12 months of runway and the way it's structured, there's no way you're getting the Splinterlands money.
Right. Maybe that's the purpose of having everything in the fucking DAO.
But what the fuck else do you think the DAO is for? And the fact that it's an LLC, I mean, sorry. That protect everything that the principals would have taken out, even in the case of fraudulent misrepresentation.
Is there any legitimate use for a DAO? Like, I actually thought that it was a great idea, and it's something that I have been looking at for Dragon Memories.
I mean,
like, I like the idea of players having a legitimate voice.
Yeah, you have to pick and choose your players, which kind of is more of an oligarchy than a DAO.
And I mean, I understand that, the one of the big problems with this particular DAO is the weight of the whales, which is why I felt like I had a pretty solid solution to that as well. There will be a voted weight that is based on your staked voting coin, but that will be part of the weight of your vote. Another part of the weight of your vote would be based on your staked XP token, basically, which you can only earn by playing the game, which is not a tradable token. So there's how much you play, there's how much you spend, and then there is one man, one vote, which is which would be viable because it's KYC.
I still don't think a DAO is a good idea, but I'd love to be proven wrong.
Well, okay, so I mean, I understand your position that a DAO is not a good idea, but how would you make it better? Like I guess is what I was asking is, do you see a way to make it passable?
Yeah,
make
by
it work.
centralizing authority.
So
I mean,
no, you do not.
I mean, um, I keep thinking of all these different potential, governance workarounds, and you could potentially create a DAO if, you think of, oh, okay, we can give the power to the DAO to kick people for the DAO with a massive supermajority for gross misconduct or some shit like that, right? But then that's going to be abused. You can do a one person, one vote DAO. That is going to lead to a tyranny of the majority that's not going to reward those who've actually put more into the game. It's kind of like this whole idea of decentralization on the blockchain, to me, feels like a form of fetishism for an ideal that we have the technology to execute, but that it is fundamentally at odds with human nature. Because I hate to be agreeing with someone I very much dislike here. I'm not going to get into naming people, but most social structures function on the basis of hierarchy. And believe me, I like being at the top of hierarchy, which is why I work for myself. But someone's always got to be under you. I mean, and someone's always going to be trying to rig the game.
And yeah, that is, I mean, but that is true no matter what.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's just I think the structure of a DAO, how would I say this? Makes that even worse.
I'm dying to get this out, Matt.
But I mean, that's just human nature. That honestly has nothing to do with a DAO.
How so?
Look at politics. Look at a workplace. Look at cops. Period, end of story. There's always going to be a hierarchy. Someone's always going to be at the bottom, and someone's always going to be doing whatever they can, regardless of whether it is moral or legal or not, to one-up themselves. Yeah. None of these things have anything to do with a DAO.
Okay, agreed. But the whole premise of a DAO is that it's decentralized. So what happens is when you have a DAO and you have hierarchies functioning in a DAO, all the while people in the DAO either genuinely believe or maintain the false consciousness that they're in a decentralized structure while they're actually in a centralized structure, it kind of normalizes the presence of hierarchy when hierarchy is not supposed to be present, and creates a situation in which people don't necessarily act as if they're in a hierarchical structure. So that means for me that they're not capable of pursuing their best interests because they can't really know them.
Which is also true outside of the DAO. Because, Trump did get elected.
Yeah,
people are incapable of following their own best interest.
But I think the DAO worsens that. Because it legitimizes hierarchies that are not acknowledged. Even more than like Marx would have spoken or whatever.
Okay, so how I guess what I'm not understanding is where you're getting hierarchies that are not acknowledged.
Well, the entire premise of a DAO is that there is no hierarchy, right?
No. Because it's very obviously hierarchical, because the more SPS you have, the more your vote is worth. That is a very clear hierarchy.
Well, that's the Splinterlands DAO. I'm talking about DAOs in general. The whole...
But, regardless, no matter what, there is a way that you are going to have a more powerful vote than somebody else.
No, because some hierarchies are genuinely one person, one vote. Some DAOs. The Freudian slip there. But even then, based on interpersonal relationships, hierarchies emerge. The entire point of a DAO is that it's supposed to bring about decisions that are based on deliberation rather than hierarchy to come to the best potential solution. Hence proposals and hence, this voting. And in the case of Splinterlands, it's not a DAO, it's a corporate governance structure. What's the difference between the Splinterlands DAO and the Wax OIG election, other than the name?
I can't say anything because other than you started running and mostly to prove a point and then stopped, like, I don't know anything about Wax OIG. I didn't even know that it existed before you started.
They like to keep it that way, but guess what your voting power is based on? Your staked CPU.
Yeah, no, and exactly. Like, I fully understand that part. I don't really necessarily have a problem with it.
Me neither. Because they're not calling it a DAO.
But I still don't understand where the problem with that hierarchy is in a decentralized autonomous organization. There's nothing in DAO that says non-hierarchical or not.
Oh, no. I agree. That's not the issue. The issue is that there's no deliberation in the DAO, which is like the functional core of the DAO. It's supposed to be premised on like legitimate, battles of ideas and stuff like that, rather than upon coalitions of whales emerging on the basis of pecuniary self-interest. A DAO is supposed to be a steward, not a profit-making. Not a. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Not a structure to make profit for certain subsegments. It's supposed to benefit a community as a whole, or even a community that's, for example, in the case of like Ukraine DAO, that's not actually a member of the DAO. Like, say you're delivering on the basis you're delivering humanitarian assistance through a DAO. Well, your stakeholders are the people you're delivering humanitarian assistance to. But if hierarchies emerge in the DAO, I think it's perhaps the best analogy I can come up with to explain my perspective is if these emerge and they don't best reflect the interests of the entire group, which includes people who are not represented in the DAO in this specific case, then it's not really either a DAO or a good thing. It's just a corporate governance structure with a different name.
Okay, so let's semantics of naming aside, what is wrong with having the players have a voice in the corporate governance structure?
There is nothing wrong with having the players have a say in the corporate governance structure. I'd say there's something wrong with having the team being part of said corporate governance structure based on the charade that they're players, even if they are, because they have a conflict of interest. And I'd say that immediately taints and discredits any notion that this is a DAO.
Okay, now that part I understand further, but I guess that's what I'm asking, like, how would you change that as a member of the Dragon Memories team? Like, how do we make that better? Because I do like the system of having players, and I agree that there needs to be more conversation around it, and proposals need to be made and then changed based on conversation, not just vote in, vote out. Like, I fully agree with you on those points, but how do you propose we make ours not have those same pitfalls and avoid that conflict of interest? Because that part I do agree with. The biggest problem with the DAO is how much weight the team has.
First of all, clearly just not allow any person who's on the team to be in the DAO. Create a separation of powers between the DAO and the actual team. Create the DAO in a manner that's truly independent and where its deliberations can, on the basis of a DAO vote, be insulated from scrutiny by the team so as to prevent undue power and undue influence.
So you think we should have no say in the DAO?
100%.
Like not even input. Not, I mean, voting aside, but like not even comment.
Yes, we should be able to talk to the DAO. Yes. But if the DAO decides that they want to exclude us from a given discussion because they feel that we're being overbearing or that we're trying to manipulate them, they should have every right to do that. I think that should be a simple majority vote. No quorum. But the most important thing is that between now and the time Dragon Memories is launched with an actual DAO, which would presumably be during alpha, not pre-alpha.
Not even alpha. Like that would probably be, full game launch. I don't mean the MMO, but like, yeah, the DAO would not be an early thing. Like, I'm not saying.
Oh, see, that's where I disagree with you there too.
Okay.
I think that if you want to lend more credibility to the DAO and give the DAO skin in the game and make the DAO accountable for its decisions, as much as the team can be held accountable for its decisions, you give the DAO a role from the beginning.
Okay. I'm not opposed to that either. I just, I had figured that it would be better to wait to roll it out until the game is open so that it doesn't look like we're playing favorites and giving the upper hand to the people who were able to get in earlier when it was, a closed list. That was my reasoning behind thinking not to do it in alpha.
As you said that, there's actually something interesting that pops to mind, and that's creating like a two-stage DAO. A first-stage DAO prior to full release or beta release, where the team, where you don't even bother calling it a DAO. You call it a governance council. Or whatever.
And I don't care about the name DAO. We can never call it a DAO. I'm just using that for communication sense. If you have an alternate thing for us to call it, we'll go with that.
Council of Elders. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding, but not kidding. But
we can just call it the council. I mean, we do have a council of races that exists in Galil, and it could function similarly to that.
I think that the key, really, is to have a clear and predefined separation of powers, areas in which the DAO has zero influence, zero right to even influence decisions, and areas in which the team has no right to fuck with what the DAO is trying to do.
Okay. And what do you feel about a veto power? Or something like that, because the thing that I worry about is really shitty ideas being put forth by people who have a heavy stake and them getting their friends and shit behind it, and that killing the game that we have worked so hard to make.
If the governance structure, the council, is designed if the separation of powers is designed appropriately prior to the launch of the DAO, then there shouldn't be an issue.
People are stupid. That will always be an issue.
Well,
DECB got voted in.
Despite my thoughts about the United States of America, I would say that the idea of the separation of powers is a very good one. And from that perspective, perhaps implementing a literal fucking tribunal of sorts to regulate disputes between the DAO and the team rather than a veto power per se might be a good thing. But
yeah, and again, I don't necessarily mean I get the final arbitration say, and like no matter what the proposal says, I can just say fucking no. I understand that's the image given by veto power, but that's not what I'm getting at. I am just talking about a way to second guess some things and stop.
If something is done for profit, like a game, I don't necessarily feel like a DAO with anything more than advisory powers is even worth it, honestly.
And that's kind of what I was getting at. Do we think it's doable or reasonable to have the council have an advisory power rather than an outright power? Or something along the lines of, as the team, we come up with, okay, this is what we're looking at for our next step. We have option A, option B, option C. Which one would y'all rather see?
Yeah. I personally think that the advisory thing is the best approach. That's my view of things. Yeah, 100%.
And then that, again, so you've got your vote is weighted 33%, one person, one vote, 33% based on player level, 33% based on staked governance token.
I think I'd prefer a model where your staked governance token, based on percentiles, creates a ratio function of your stake power. So say like the 90th percentile get a 10 times multiplier, the 80th the 80th to 89% will get a 9 times multiplier, kind of like the current SPS reward thing.
So the more you have, the more it's worth, or the more you have, the less it's worth?
The more XP you have, the more your your governance stake is worth. The more you play, rather than just holding, the more voting power you have, based on the multiplier that your staked stuff gets.
Okay.
Based on the percentile. So say you have your top player in terms of XP and your bottom player. Well, your bottom player is going to get a multiplier of 1, your bottom 10%, your top 10% is going to get a multiplier of 10, for example. So say your biggest whale has 10 times more than your smallest player, but your smallest player has the most XP in the game. Well, that smallest player will have an equal voting power to that of the biggest whale.
Interesting.
I mean, I feel like that's a natural way to balance things.
I would like to see a formula, because I can kind of wrap my head around it, but I can't visualize it.
I'm too tired and lazy to do it now.
I don't mean right this second. I just mean...
No, but I could literally jot it down in like a few minutes, but like it's not even really a formula. I guess you could turn it into an algorithm that would constantly update, yeah. But I mean, it's really just like you take the range of XP, just the way you would normally calculate percentiles, right? Like percentiles in terms of height, like you and I are in the 98th percentile or whatever. Then you create your percentile tranches, 91 to 100, 89 to 90, and so on. And then you choose whatever multipliers you're going to use. I'm just using 10, 9, 8, 7 to 1 as a simple example. And from there, I mean, it's a pretty simple formula, to be honest with you. Like, there's no real complicated math. It's just it would need to be recalculated at certain intervals, which is where the need for an algo possibly comes into play. But I mean, other than that, it's basically just the amount of time you play determines how much of a bonus or penalty you get with regards to your stake token or whatever. Your governance token. Yeah.
All right, and then how do you work the one man, one vote into that? Do you weight that calculation 50% and then the one man, one vote 50%?
I don't think you really need the one person, one vote if you have that. Because you're already creating a system of checks and balances based on engagement with the game. And theoretically, that way you're balancing out, you're creating a balance between whaling and playing. And the system ultimately rewards those who play the most and spend the most at the same time. I mean, I don't know what more you could ask for if you're creating a governance system.
Okay.
Because if you play a lot, like let's look at it this way, right? Say someone has 10 governance tokens and another player has 1 governance token in terms of invest, right? But the guy with 1 plays the guy with 10 barely plays, so he has a score of 1 for XP, and the guy who has 1 plays all the time and has a score of 10. Well, they'll both have the same voting power.
And whereas the one who's in the middle, who's got 5 for the XP and 5 for the staked council token, is actually going to have a weighted vote of 25.
Yes. But the guy or gal who has, say, 10 and 10 will have a voting power of 100. So your biggest whale who actually plays will have 10 times more voting power than your biggest whale who does not play. So there'd always be an upper limit on potential power that would be determined by your baseline staking power, right? If you had 1, you could never go higher than 10. If you had 2, you could never go higher than 20, and so on. But it gets really interesting for the players in the middle who, a player in the middle, like with 5, who was the most engaged player in the game, could have 50 times more voting power than a whale who does not play at all.
Yeah, I kind of like that. So we'd be looking at, like,
you're just creating a function, like a basic function, where you're just multiplying XP by staking power, so that they're both weighted equally. I mean, you could also do the formula very easily, where you weight playing XP as 25% instead of 50%, right? It would just be a little bit of a more complicated formula, but it would still be basic arithmetic. Basically, for me, it's just a way of ensuring that you're rewarding engagement as well as stakeholding, spending. And I think that one of the cool things about that is that if someone realizes, oh fuck, I'm not going to play this game, it's not for me, but oh, I want to hold on to my assets. Oh, but wait, I have no more say over the game, I'm just going to dump my assets on secondary. Okay, well, a fucking minnow can pick them up at a discounted price and increase their engagement and ultimately their voting power over time. So it kind of creates a something akin to a meritocracy in terms of who holds the biggest say in determining votes relative to the area in which the council has been awarded competency or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I get it. And because the PXP token would be absolutely non-transferable under any circumstance.
Oh, well, okay, that's interesting then. Yeah.
Like, you have to earn your XP. The council token would be transferable. You can buy that.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. But yeah, you cannot buy
So
experience.
the person who doesn't play would literally have to buy 10 times more to get the same level of influence as the player who plays.
Yeah. And of course, while you're playing, you would also be earning council token as well as PSP.
But so would the player who would not be playing would also be earning it via staking, no?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. It would just it would kind of make it a way. I mean, I don't know if this is like from a governance perspective. It's not necessarily good from a business perspective because you're kind of discouraging people from whaling in till they know they like the game. The flip side is that you're creating an engaged player base.
Which, especially as far as decision making is concerned, I feel is far more important.
I mean, long term, but it seems like I know this isn't you, but most Web3 projects have an incredibly short term orientation.
Well, yeah, that's because they're all fucking rugs.
Is Splinterlands? Well, you can't answer that. Never mind.
I mean, it's like, if your focus is short term, then yeah, I'm pretty sure that is like,
without getting into the question of whether Splinterlands is a rug, because let's not go there. Do you think Splinterlands has historically shown a short-term or a long-term focus?
I think relatively long term, at least in the Web3 space.
Okay.
Because I mean,
low.
And I don't just mean because Land is 18 years late, but because, you know, even when Land was sold, it was a project that was going to take a while. It was a long-term thing. And like the fact that, you know, we're already, you know, we know about Rebellion, even like we don't have a date for it yet, but we know it's next year. Like they're planning for the future.
But don't you think it's problematic that after selling Land, and this is my biggest indictment, they kept selling other shit before they even bothered finishing developing Land? Given how little actual dev time has clearly gone into Land?
Yes and no. I can't really complain about it too much because I wasn't here when the original sale happened, and therefore I don't really know what impressions were made and were given when that happened.
But they had given previous deadlines, hadn't they?
Yes. And in fact, we're already late on the Land 1.5 deadline, which was last quarter.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I get it. And that, again, that's why I am starting to really, have my doubts, and why I am preparing to make some moves in other directions.
I got you. Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that this is because of a lack of planning or lack of future sight from the team. I would say there are certainly problems, but it's not that they're not planning for the future. I mean, when they laid off half their staff, fired half their staff, that was, a strong sign that they are planning for the future, because they weren't willing to just keep walking on that short plank or short pier and hoping that they were going to make it. They realized, oh shit, this is not a good situation. We have to do something about this, and they did. And it was I actually supported that decision. I think that they could have done a better job in terms of how they did it and who left. And they also could have done a much better job in how they presented it, because coming out and immediately saying, yeah, we got rid of half of our staff, but we're going to be more effective than ever and more productive than ever, that is definitely a little insensitive.
I also think it's because they're constantly lying and gaslighting their player base.
Yeah.
And I think that's inexcusable.
Yeah.
I mean, if I could get out of the game right now, and it was financially worthwhile, I would. But the amount I have in is so insignificant that it almost makes more sense just to wait for the bull run and see if the game still survives till then.
Yeah, because and that's another thought that I have had also. But then there's the, okay, well, I do have $3,000 right now.
Yeah.
If I wait, it could go to 0.
Yeah, but it could also go to 6 because people are dumb as shit.
Yes. But do I actually believe in the possibility?
People do stupid shit during bull runs.
Yes. But also, the bull run is not guaranteed.
I mean,
it's a high likelihood, but it is far from guaranteed. The Bitcoin halving is guaranteed. The market's reaction is not.
Fair point. Yeah. Very true.
And while Bitcoin does lead the market, we have seen more decoupling lately than
between
at any point in history.
Yeah. 100%.
So I do not have 100% faith in a bull run following the halving.
That's fair. Yeah.
And as I'm thinking about it, I can't be 100% sure. I have not tracked my input into Splinterlands, but I'm fairly certain that if I cash out $3,000, I'm making at least 50% profit. I'm pretty certain I have not put $2,000 into this game.
That's pretty decent then. Like,
granted,
genuinely.
I've put more than 2 years into it.
Yeah.
But I don't, like, I'm willing to like, not even consider that, because I've put far longer into games that I've made nothing from. And I've actually put more money into games that I've made nothing from. Looking at you, League of Legends and World of Warcraft. Actually, no, I can't say I put more into WoW. But, like, yeah, I like, if I were to cash out right now, I would not feel bad about it, regardless of what the prices do afterwards. The only thing that I would feel bad about is not being able to play the game anymore. Because, like I said, I love the actual fucking game of Splinterlands.
Yeah. And playing in bronze wouldn't be, you know.
No, I hate bronze.
Yeah.
Bronze is not Splinterlands.
Well,
bronze is Heaven's Lands.
At some point it was Splinterlands, wasn't it?
No. No.
At the beginning.
Well, before I knew better, yes.
Okay, yeah.
Because, like, you still, like, it's a decent intro. But yeah, but once I got into silver, I really like it. It did not take long at all to realize I never wanted to play bronze again. And it's not even about rewards. It's about how much better the actual game is because you start having more mana at your disposal and you start having more abilities on cards and you start having more rule sets. And the entire thing I love about this game is the complexity of team selection, and it's just not fucking there in bronze.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like about bronze.
And I saw that when I got up to playing gold and even into diamond, to be fair. Yeah, no, it's a fair and valid point.
And I do think it's at its best in silver and gold. Because in diamond, you have a much larger discrepancy between the whales and the pay to win and the average player who is actually there by skill. Whereas in silver and gold, that discrepancy is much smaller because those whales are in diamond.
It's just to be honest with you, from my perspective, it's my biggest issue, I guess, is with the team. It really is, especially the senior.
Well, the team, and big portions of the community.
I don't know if I have an issue with Yamamat. If he really came up with the game in full, it might be the corporate side of the governance structure, the team that's problematic for me, and the yes men in the DAO.
Yeah, that's the significant portion of the community that I'm referring to. But also, like, the way that certain things have been, like, the whole community council thing. It's not about the fact that I didn't get in. It's about the fact that there was obviously some shady shit going on when 3 members of the same guild were numbers 1, 2, and 3 in the voting.
No shit, eh?
Like, there's no way that's possible. They would have been splitting the vote if they were not pulling some shady shit.
Well, it's a corporate governance structure. What do you expect? It's not a DAO.
It wasn't a corporate governance structure, though. It was straight up enter an email and vote. Like, it had nothing to do with SPS or anything like that.
Oh, really?
No, that was I forget what site they used, but it was literally just put in an email and vote. And so, like, I will admit, is some people voted for me multiple times. I didn't ask them to, but people that have multiple email addresses were absolutely able to enter multiple email addresses and vote multiple times.
Did you know, Rick, that you can buy vote that way?
Yeah.
Well, how about that, eh? How about them apples?
But yeah, that's like, I'm not even complaining that they did that, but that should have been organized better. That should not have been a situation that was possible in the first place. If you're fucking voting on something that matters, maybe have that vote fucking matter.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Frankly, I mean, I didn't realize that it was elected like that, and that's disquieting and arguably disgusting. But every time I think that I couldn't be any more disappointed with shit in the world of Web3, something new comes to not surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it makes you wonder what the point of Web3 is. I don't know.
I'm actually going to cancel this, so I want to put that in the fucking liquidity pool.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, I made a little bit of a move today.
What was that?
I finally bumped my hive power over 200 on the mountain.
Wow. How much is your vote worth now?
Next to nothing, because most of it is delegated to Rick on the Mount 10.
Oh, yeah. That would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, Rick on the Mount 10 has 38 and a half. Dragon Memories has 15. You have 11. Splinter Boost has just under 51. Rick Wins Again has 10. Eternal Paw has 10. PGM Curator has 25.3. Get Good Scrub has 10. And Easton C has 25.
I have some delegated to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And what's the benefit of this reciprocal delegation again?
We're both earning more. So like, okay. I actually delegated you 11, and now it's 11.057. So it's not
over time
lot,
it grew,
but it is slowly growing.
Yep. No, 100%. That makes quite a bit of sense. That is very sensible. Oh, fucking hell. I thought Steven was joining us tonight.
Maybe he's not done with work. Maybe he's not joining. I don't know. I don't think he actually said either way.
Oh, I thought he did. My bad. I'd be just very curious to get his take on the town, whatever it is.
Speaking of which, we should get back to
Matt's dying to get this out. I know Weirdbeard wants to get the baby
town
out.
Circle jerk.
If there's something broken, or if there's something that is like totally screwy, we're not just going to push out random whatever.
Totally screwy.
These are a target window. You know, if it gets pushed back, you guys are all going to yell at us, and we're going to tell you, look, bro, relax, it's coming. But we can't ship.
Yeah, see that there captures it. I think that line, "Yo, bro, it's coming." It's like these are your customers, motherfucker.
Exactly. Like that. I fully agree with that. It's that condescension.
Yep.
That I didn't really see before. But
is it new?
I think it has primarily developed because we have been hounding his ass about Wenland. But we wouldn't be if it wasn't 3 years fucking overdue.
Yeah.
If you deliver on your shit in a reasonable time period, you will not have people on your ass about when fucking you're gonna deliver.
Yep.
Like, the problem is you.
Like, imagine you hire someone to do your roof, and they do your roof 3 years later.
Right?
Yeah.
And I mean, hell, actually, that's not even something I have to imagine. We recently did have the roof redone. And, oh boy, did I have some words for the boss of the fucking crew that was here. Because they were fucking just slamming down those fucking packs of fucking shingles on the roof to the point where they're damaging my fucking ceilings. Tearing apart my fucking walls.
Wow. Did you speak to them about it?
Oh, yeah.
Because you've worked construction, you know what you're talking about.
Exactly. I know that I understand. It's fucking hard work being up on a roof. It's hard fucking work carrying those goddamn packs of shingles up a fucking ladder. They're heavy as shit. I understand that it's not easy to lay it down gently, but I do understand that you need to fucking do that because you're shaking my entire fucking house. You're literally causing cracks in my fucking ceilings and walls, and also you're damaging the fucking shingles.
Yep.
Like, is it easy? No, but there's a right way to do it. Do it fucking right. That's why you're being fucking paid.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's a shitty fucking job. You know what else is a shitty job? Working in a fucking kitchen.
Which is shittier?
Depends on the weather.
Fair. I mean, the worst part of it is these town halls, in a sense. Because, like, they kind of give the illusion of transparency when it's not really transparency.
Right?
It's
and
gaslight.
yeah, I think that's an illusion that I actually bought for a while. Like, that was one of the things that I raved about. Like, why is Splinterlands a better game? Because the gameplay is actually great, unlike a lot of other Web3 games, which really are still just fucking clickers. I mean, even
the
Nova,
gameplay is great. 100%.
at the moment, is just a fucking clicker. But it was also like, yeah, we have a town hall every single week where the team comes out and gives us all of their plans and answers questions. And it was like, yeah, when I was getting into streaming and shit like that, like, they were doing a great job, and it was legitimate transparency, but it's become more and more the man behind the fucking curtain.
Yeah. It's pretty disquieting.
Do we lose Aggie?
Little bits at the end, but not everything has been completely tested. So if there are bugs that we find, which is also part of why we put it on Maz before it goes live entirely, if there's bugs, it might actually push back the release. But we'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah, I again, the big reason why is for all of this. If we let Mavs in too early and let players in, it's sort of that first impression is the only impression that you really get, right? So we're wanting to make sure that once it does hit Mav server, that is a moment of, hey, you get to play with it before everybody else, and less, leaning so heavily on outside bug testing and QAing, because we really should have our ducks in a row on this. We've been working on it for so long. There's just no excuse to have people see it and go, wow, this still seems pretty broken, because that's not what we want people to take away from interacting with the land for the first time.
Yeah. That said, it's a giant coding project. So, this doesn't work like other battles. We're not just like adding another ability, and it's not just like, here's a new card for the Splinter. Like, this is a giant freaking thing. So it
would be a giant freaking thing if they were delivering the thing
this weekend,
right?
But if something goes wrong, we're gonna relax a little bit. We're not gonna push this every little minute, and I don't want you guys breathing down our necks or the devs' necks. There's so much pressure internally that we don't need anything else external to go.
Motherfucker, it's your job to deal with pressure.
And I can confirm that we just finished up a 2-hour-long
CEO,
QA server. Or QA swarm that happened earlier this afternoon. We have more scheduled throughout the entire week, so we are hustling and bustling. We're closer to the end than we are the beginning, and that's all that matters to me, man.
We're announcing we're just starting.
Yeah, closer to the end than we are to the beginning. After 3 years, I would fucking hope so.
Land now. Yeah. So what? Okay, so how did that QA swarm go? Was it flawless? Did we find little bugs? Did we are we totally screwed and everything's broken? Like, what was the result of that?
I mean, we have bugs, but a lot of them are more bugs in the sense of, hey, we should change this, like how this works, and not this is not working as intended and is broken and needs to be fixed. Right.
So is this just like tweaking buttons to go one place versus the other, or the order that things appear, or is this like?
Yeah, like, hey, this button's on the right, it should be on the left. Hey, we aren't displaying grain on this page, but it is on this page. Like, there's again, the items that are being talked about are essentially in a place now where when we QA it, we're deciding, does this stop the release of land, as opposed to, oh boy, let's sit back and think about, how much longer we have and see if we can squeeze it in. It's, if it is working as intended, it's going to get out there. And then because we're immediately diving back in with that 1.6 follow-up, it's sort of, half in, half out of, hey, is it that bad? No? Okay, we'll get to it after the release. It's not going to be that bad. A lot of it's just like rounding out the edges as opposed to building the whole thing from the ground up now.
Yeah, so this is God, I've been waiting. I've been waiting to make this announcement for like a month now.
I know you have.
We're gonna get it out there, everybody. It's happening right now. But I don't know. We have worked our tails off trying to get here. The dev team, the support team, the enhancement team, even the ops team, everybody. There's like nobody in this company that hasn't touched this at least a little bit. So I don't know, man. Just a hell of a job by everybody trying to go get this thing into place and be ready. I mean, like this was a monumental undertaking, and we gave this to Weirdbeard, and Weirdbeard kept coming back, being like, "Dude, I need more people to go get this done if that's your timeline." And so, like, all work on a lot of other things stopped just so that we could crank this out. That's how big this thing got. So, and that's not even like scope creep. It's just for us to go do the bare minimum of having this thing fully functional. That's it.
Well, it's a matter of, after talking to Farp, he put it really, really well the other day, is when we built 1.5, we were actually doing a lot of the groundwork for 1.5 and beyond, so that the stuff that follows up afterwards, we already have a foundation for, like the staking actions and the API calls and like all this other stuff, right? So it's
Yeah.
I hate using like building analogies because I'm a soft lily-handed girl. I am no craftsman by trade whatsoever. But it's a lot of, we spent time pouring the foundation and putting up the studs, and like drywalling and moving in furniture is the easiest thing that you can do after you build the entire thing. So after this of a massive project, it's going to hopefully be a lot less like pulling teeth.
Yeah. So so we're gonna do this kind of in like a 1.5 and a 1.6 rollout.
Mm-hmm.
What's the main thing that's going into 1.6 that didn't kind of make it into 1.5?
I mean, there's a couple different things. We've had people talk publicly about land surfing, but again, that's like something that's still being worked on internally. It's not, hey, land surfing's just sitting on a shelf and we didn't decide to do it. That's a massive undertaking. There's some market stuff.
Everything they do is a massive undertaking, but I feel that for other dev teams, it would not be.
I would really say that we also have the prefix titles that are in there. We have a lot of the lore integration. We have
oh my god, they coded titles as a multiplier.
Agents can make sure that
wow, that's
if
a
people have issues with
complicated
land,
function.
it's easier to follow up and track down problems with it. So I would say that outside of a small handful of like big items, it's a lot of small quality of life and updates that were like, hey, it'd be great to get this out, but it doesn't stop everything else from releasing, really is where it's at.
Okay, so I mean, is this whole thing working, or is there something still left? Like what for the like 1.5? What are we doing this week? And then what happens when it gets on Mavs? And what is there any other timeline or like shape of this project that you kind of want to describe?
Not yet. I mean, again, we're still so deep in QAing that even looking a couple days ahead is tough. Because this last 10% of testing and buttoning things up is the most precarious time. This is when you really see like rubber meets the road. Did we build something that works? Like that's the kind of question that's being answered here. And so, getting it out on Mavs, I think is also important to see and take the temperature of the room. If people are like hounding us with nonstop DMs and messages about how amazing everything is, that kind of changes the timeline for me a little bit, as opposed to people being like, it was whatever. Like, I don't care. Maybe then we need to double check and make sure it's doing exactly what we think that it should be doing.
Welcome. There
so
he is.
what is the main thing that we can do with land at this stage?
Dead.
So what part is working? What's going to go live on the server?
No.
And what are we going to be able to do?
So the biggest thing is the staking and clearing of your land.
But I have been considering selling my camera gear again.
How far into this did you get?
To win Clay spoke.
Okay, so farther than we are?
Possibly, sure.
I've still got just aggroed and Weirdbeard, and I actually, I made it another couple of minutes into it, but I remember them asking for the clown and then Rondon not showing up immediately.
I wonder if he got spanked.
Plots. So you're able to clear the land. You're
I also
able
wonder
to
why they
start
were
production
asking for
on
the
grain.
clown when the clown was already there.
Just so that he can probably control the scene or whatever. And,
I can't hear you, Steve.
I'm cutting up potatoes.
Cutting out Legos?
Cutting out
Potato.
potatoes, I think.
Oh.
I don't know why
Yeah,
you would
yeah.
cut them out as opposed to just cut them, but that's why I wasn't certain.
Yeah,
You're able to
because
put
I've got my
monsters to
laptop here
work.
on the kitchen bench while I'm doing it.
When you say
Gotcha.
kitchen bench, you mean like a butcher's bench, a butcher block kind of thing?
No, the kitchen bench.
No idea what that is.
Let me Americanize it for you. The countertop.
Oh, yes, the kitchen bench. That thing.
I've never heard of it as a bench either, because don't put your ass on my motherfucking counter.
Yeah, I'm not cooking donkey.
Yeah.
And
I
have
need
them power up
donkey.
using the power cores. You're able to use time.
I'd try it.
Probably need to simmer it. I mean, braise it. Sorry.
No, just go to IKEA.
I mean, dude, horse meat is delicious. Just so you know.
I haven't tried it, but I can say rabbit is. Turtle is.
I haven't had
Rabbit-
turtle.
Gator
Rabbit's.
is.
Gator is good.
I've had croc, but not gator. But they're basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine meat-wise, at least, they would be. Dentist-wise, no.
Yeah. Crocs are a little more murderous, I've heard.
Yeah, it's great.
Crystals. You're able to buy, sell, and trade grain. You're able to
Alright, wait.
Potatoes. It's a rated knife.
So one
Also important to
point of
see-
discussion we were having, Stephen, is that I feel personal like one of the biggest issues, no, the biggest issue here, and I don't expect you to be able to comment as freely as I can here, is the team and the condescending nature of the way they're talking. Like, kind of like, don't come at me, bro, and ask me about the status of X. It'll be done when it's done. It's like, it feels like they're taking their customers for granted. It's like, I was saying to Rick before, like, it's like you hire someone to put solar panels on your roof, in your case, and they come 3 years later. How is that okay? And how is it justifiable?
It is not. Because that's a loaded question.
How?
I'm able to recognize that.
Well, of course it's a loaded question. I'm pushing a narrative.
Not everyone can detect that it's a loaded question.
I wouldn't say everybody, but a large number of people.
You see, I like to read between the lines,
Yeah.
but you know what's better?
What?
Writing between the lines.
Yuck, 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 yuck.
How much salt should I put on my potatoes? I have 4 potatoes.
How much what?
Salt.
Are you soaking them or boiling them?
I'll be soaking them and then air frying them.
I would put. How long are you soaking them for?
20 minutes?
Well, there's no point in soaking them at all then.
There is.
If you're soaking them for 24 to 48 hours.
I'm brining them then.
Yeah, then they come out so goddamn delicious.
Yeah, but I want them now. I don't want them in 24 to 48 hours.
Then why were you not soaking your potatoes yesterday?
Because I didn't want them yesterday. Then I looked at them and they're starting to grow things, so I got to use them.
Please tell me you didn't peel them.
No, fuck off.
Okay, good. I know you're a barbarian.
Every time I see someone peel a potato, I die a little inside.
The only reason to peel a potato, and even then I'm not sold on it, is for mashed potatoes. But
No,
even then I'm fine with having the skins.
You're wrong. The skin is the best part in mashed potatoes.
No, I agree, but the people around me don't.
Well, they shouldn't be people around you then.
Right now there aren't.
I'd like to say they're people below you, but given your towering physique.
Very true. Very true.
I like using a serrated knife because it gives them more surface area.
Yes.
And take the temperature of the room. If people are like hounding us with nonstop DMs and messages about how amazing everything is, that kind of changes the timeline
Hounding us?
a little
Stop
bit, as
saying
opposed to
that.
people being like, it was
Come here,
whatever. Like, I
puppy.
don't care. You know, maybe then we need to double check and make sure it's doing exactly what we think that it should be doing.
So what is the main thing that we can do with land at this stage? So what part is working? What's going to go live on the
It's
server?
not land.
And
It's
what
a
are
staking
we
system.
what are we going to be able
Fuck.
to do?
So the biggest thing is the staking and clearing of your land plots. So
Thank
you're
you.
able to
Gotta
clear the
use your
land.
imagination.
You're able to start production on grain.
Boy,
You're able
I
to
use
put
my imagination
monsters
for a
to
whole
work
lot of
and,
stuff. I don't want
have
it to
them
be something
power
I'm
up using the
paying
power
for.
cores. You're able to use time crystals. You're able to buy, sell, and trade grain. You're able to essentially make functioning.
How are you saying you're going to be able
The
to buy,
function
sell,
of
and
land
trade
is
grain
there,
when
and
you
that
just
can also
fucking told us
determine,
you're not
hey,
going to
do
be
I
able
want to go
to
after
sell or
secret
trade grain?
predatory research, or do I want to go after grain?
That's
or
resolved in a couple of sentences.
whatever you want to do, you're able to start as soon as it goes live.
Because I mean, they as part of the surveying packages, they told us that the grain that was part of whichever package it was part of was going to be transferable and tradable.
Already is.
Say that again?
Already is.
But only to Splinterland.
No.
So you could send
What?
me grain right now.
Yeah. I'm not
How?
going to.
No, I'm not asking you to, but I was under the distinct impression that what they were saying earlier was that it is
Maybe
not. That
you
you
think
will
it-
be able to
maybe-
buy from Splinterlands and that's it. That there will be no secondary market activity yet. Like I must have
Yeah.
missed something.
Maybe I'm also confusing it with time crystals.
Yeah, because from my understanding of it too, they clearly said that you'd be able to buy and sell at the Splinterlands, and that the proceeds would be burned.
Yeah, I got that far as well. But yeah, I apologize. I think I'm getting it confused with the time crystals, which are currently tradable.
Okay. And that's what I was. Okay, yeah. Because the grain they did say was not actually. Yeah, it was the time crystals that were tradable in that. So that is both of us being mistaken. And yeah, I still don't see how Weirdbeard is saying that grain is going to be tradable just after they literally just said that no, it's not. So, or maybe he's talking about land 1-6, I guess, not 1-5.
They're just gaslighting you.
And I think that that's the biggest allure that so many people.
I don't
with
think there's
land
any lighting
is
going on. I still
I
feel
want to
very
make
much in
my
the dark.
stuff go live. You know,
Right.
what cards are going on and what they're being staked at.
Certainly a
Because
lack
to
of
me, that's the
illumination.
most not important, but the biggest impact that this is going to have. I'm really interested to see how many alpha cards are still out there in the wild after the
I'm gonna
staking
put
goes
2
live. You know, how are they going
teaspoons
to
of
be?
salt in my potatoes?
How much water do you have? A liter?
Probably like a bit over a liter.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Split? Are they all going to work on the land plots, at a farm somewhere up north, or will they still be out in the
Question is,
wild?
what
and seeing
other
tournaments?
spices are you putting in
All
here?
right. The what about Rooney?
That's
You didn't
for the
mention
secondary
Rooney.
phase, and we haven't yet
canned?
decided.
Are we doomed? Rooney
Might as
isn't
well
in
just
this
put it in with
patch,
the water
or
as well. Let it
Rooney
all
is
soak
in here. And by the
Okay.
way, I
Not if he's
misspoke.
only soaking
I
for
said
20
trade
minutes.
grain. I apologize. You can buy and
That's
sell
20
grain
more
before
minutes
people
than
start
not having it in.
coming
Okay.
with the pitchforks.
Yeah, we're gonna get to grain in a second.
True.
So let's talk. I wanted to go finish up on, when you're doing production, you're able to go in, you put your Rooney in, or you put your power core in, you add your monsters or your summoners to the plots.
And there's some
You can add
chipotle
Rooney.
chicken
Rooney is-
salt.
There you
Ooh,
go.
that sounds good.
That is
functional,
now.
and then we
token.
have the titles, so you can select the title if you have it, and then we also have totems, right?
Yeah,
So you
it's
gotta,
not
like,
impressive that you
redeem
created
your
a
totem
simple
first.
function
So that's
where a
probably a
title
step
is a
that everybody
multiplier.
needs to recognize is that
When
right
I-
now
when I
nobody
say chicken
owns a
salt,
totem.
I don't mean Chipotle, the restaurant. I mean salt made of the bones of chickens.
The best type.
Hey Google, set a timer for 20 minutes.
They all
Kill
have totem
20 minutes.
claims, so you actually got
Starting
to get
now.
your totem.
And I also will have to say, hold on, I have to delete a naughty message in our Discord. Yeah, I think the other thing too that's going to be great about it, is seeing
Nothing's
how
great about
much
this.
and how people divide it, because you are going to have to make a
Something's
choice,
great.
right? You're going to have to make a
Mhm.
choice of
I
if
had my
you
gaming
are
stream with Crystal tonight.
stacking
That's great.
all your Rooney
Oh,
where
that's fun.
and how you're committing them, and then what you're doing. If you're going after research, are you going after grain, are you going after, what are you going to do here? I know for a fact that there's big swaths of people like with Gankland and Gank in his entire
pause it, Rick?
castle.
So another thing, Holozor, that I don't get here is they're tooting their horn about bringing in grain and research for the Secret of Pretoria. Now, I'm not a master coder, clearly, but I do understand function. And other than the need to measure the production, the PP of such a large database of cards and presumably put it into a JSON or something similar, it seems like they've basically created like 6 functions. I don't see how this is a programming feat worth any acclaim. Do you see it any differently?
First, you need to JSONify all the data from the card API,
Yes.
which has been part of their API development in the past.
So they already had all of that, right?
Not all of it.
Okay.
Then you would need to determine the PP value, which is a function in itself.
Yeah.
Because it's not a static value. You would then need to have a array of all your land.
And the different production multipliers associated with different splinters.
Well, you just look that up based on the type of land that it is via
Yeah.
an API.
Yeah.
So that's 2 APIs.
Mm-hmm.
One API to calculate the production value, a second API to calculate the penalties or bonuses.
Yeah.
Then you need to do an API call to put the monsters there, to take the monsters away,
Mm-hmm.
and the associated interface.
That's basically a staking, though. So
You would then need to record the block time it was staked, and then
yes.
calculate an
Output.
interface element that basically goes values multiplied by current time subtracted by staked block time up to whatever the cap is for the production.
Yes.
Then you would need an interface element to display that. You would need a further interface element to display the balance, and an API call to store the total of that balance. You would probably need to make modifications to the SPS staking page where it's got the land, because it will probably need to call a different API endpoint.
Yeah. Yeah. Possibly.
Probably not. Not definitely, but probably.
I mean, I don't know enough about that part of it, but
You would then need to duplicate those functions with different calculations for grain, magic, research, and SPS.
is magic gonna exist in this iteration?
Well,
Because
research is what I meant by magic.
oh, okay.
Uh, yeah, I think that's all that I can consider. And then all the interface elements. I don't think it was a coding problem. I think it was the interface elements.
You think it was the UI?
Yeah.
They show the UI a little later on. It's very underwhelming.
But what we don't know is how much of the underlying infrastructure for the future enhancements was considered a MVP.
It would be disquieting if it wasn't their top priority from the time they sold land, in my opinion.
Which it definitively was not. We know for a fact that they didn't fucking touch land for 2 years.
Imagine buying a boss monster in the first pre-sale and still not having that built.
Wait, buying a boss monster?
Yeah, so you could be put into the game as a PvE boss monster.
I knew that they'd been talking about boss monsters forever. Yeah. I did not know that there was any sort of buying that had ever happened with that.
That was in the first Kickstarter in the alpha.
And they have not yet delivered that?
Correct.
No. And no one's complaining about it?
Many people are joking about it.
Yeah, see, like, I had even said, like, I don't care if they don't do boss monsters because Splinter Forge has basically delivered boss monsters for them. But yeah. I did not know that they had ever sold anything relating to boss monster. I thought it was just an idea that Aggie had floated that had received some positive support from the community because it's a cool idea. But Jesus fucking Christ, that is mind-blowing.
It's like... They don't understand explicit or implicit contract? What?
Well, to be fair, if it's Kickstarter, then, you know, nothing matters. I mean, I have a fucking Kickstarter that I backed, like, 8 years ago that I spent, like, $200 on some amazing fucking dice that I have never seen and will never see.
The Kickstarters I backed all gave me the shit.
Most of them have. That was the last one that I did because that was when I realized that, oh, there is no guarantee on anything, and if you get taken for a ride, sucks to be you.
You know what project first Kickstarter failed?
What's that?
Forsaken.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. But we still got 50 minutes left of this, and I want to get through it tonight, and it's already 2.
God, how much more of this can we take?
We'll keep and everything like that. Oh, that's another thing. You'll have keeps castles.
Like I'm taking it up the ass with a barbed wire
things like that. So if you are a keep and castle owner, you will have the functionality that goes out with those as well.
Okay.
Barbed wire cheese grater.
Hot topic that's still left is grain. Mm-hmm. So what is going live with grain and what isn't going live with grain?
So we do have the grain market that will be going out in 1.6.
Okay.
The ability to like put it out there and have buyers that are found for your grain and whatnot. As it is right now, I think grain is essentially limited in its capacity, and it's important that we get it out with 1.6. But we thought that we would be able to still make it function, still make it work with the 1.5 release and what we have in
every man and his grain for himself.
So can
well,
does
that's
that mean
another
that there's
broken
no way to
promise?
buy grain, and if I don't have it, I'm done?
No. You can still buy grain, but you're not buying grain from other players. Is essentially what you're doing right now.
Confirmed.
Okay. And then so if we buy grain, is that money go to Splinterlands? Is that burnt? Does Weirdbeard get it all? Where does that go?
Stop asking questions you know the answer
burnt?
to. You
yeah, it's all burnt.
Okay. Yeah. See, I knew the answer to that. It is burnt, so we're good.
Farp's in here too. Farp is probably the like main architect of this.
My
maybe
favorite
not-
part was the factual
what do I
incorrectness
call
about
them?
how
Main
much
construction
DEC has
worker?
been burned in the Great Burning.
What? Yeah. What was that total? Do you remember the actual total?
I'm referring to the actual total being only DEC, not DEC Brazier.
Oh.
Yeah, not vouchers.
Yeah.
Not pre-burned vouchers.
Main dev. I don't
He is
know.
the founder, the plan. I don't know, the cult
He's the
leader of land.
blacksmith behind it all.
Yeah, there you go.
So Farp, if you want to come on and share anything, that'd be most welcome. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally excited for this because you gotta. I want you to keep in mind some math or just some reality. Is like, you know, for land to be totally utilized, we need 7 billion DEC, and I don't know if you know this, but there's not that much DEC in the
Oh
world.
my god, I hate this
You
guy
know, there's
so
something like
much.
4.5 billion. Splinterlands has about 1 billion of that, so there's only 3.5 left, and you know, a whole bunch of that's in liquidity pools. So somewhere between 2 and 3 billion is my guess of like what actually exists there. But we need 7.
Because if it's in liquidity pools, it's totally not accessible. I mean, that's not literally the function of liquidity pools at all.
Where are you going to get 7? You know, you got to go to SBS. Well, SBS is interesting too because there's 1.1 billion of those. 630 or so are staked. You have 180 with the Dow, and you have 80 with Splinterlands. You probably have somewhere around about 100 million in liquidity pools, and so literally like 90% of the SBS is staked. So when we get here, and here is like a little bit after Friday, depending on how much Mav chicanery we find. But you know, the community is going to have to get their DEC, and there's not enough for
exact
everybody.
amount of monopoly money that his company fucking holds.
Should.
The only place to get your DEC
Guess that's
is
too
going to
much
be
to
buying and
ask,
burning
too.
SPS, and there's not a lot of places to get that SPS because, you know, for practical
Steven, am I
purposes,
being
there's
unduly
really only
negative?
10% of the total supply that's
No.
like available for you guys to buy and burn. So
And I also
I'm
want to
being
point out
unduly
this is all
fucking
coming after we had
blind.
the Great Burning.
I'm being unduly
event,
what?
Which burned like
Blind.
Oh.
what was it? 500 something? 400
500
million? Just a gross amount of DEC that was DEC and DECB. I do have a video of what staking on land or slot management of cards and items looks like. Should
Let's
I?
post it. Hey,
I
Ron,
can't,
well,
I can't
let's.
post it, but I have to share my screen on it.
Can we talk to the clown? Clown, can you interject? Can we share?
Summon the clown. Yeah, if you could.
Okay.
Oh,
Hilarious.
okay. He's
so
just
we're gonna-
talking in our ear.
We're gonna work on that. Is it which video is it? Is it the one that Hardpoint shared that's
Yes.
3 minutes long?
Yes.
All right. Let me I think I know how to go do this. So let me go pop this open real quick, and then hopefully
Excuse me while I
screen share with
whip
Rome.
this out.
Select the screen to share. It's going to be this. Let me pop this open.
I just
And
thought instead
then-
of listening to us talk about it, it'd be nice to show some of the sexy stuff in operation.
Yeah, I think that people will like this if I can figure out. I mean, I did not. You should be able to. Let me pop.
The screen share's gone.
Oh yeah, I took it down. I can share it if we're ready to roll.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
All right, so you're doing it with Weird Beard
I'm
then?
ready. Yes, I'm here.
Nope.
No, that's why I did this. That's
how
all
long
right.
is the how
So
long is
if
the video?
3 minutes.
Well, I guess how big is this video? 39 megabytes. I think I can I can upload this.
Okay. Ooh.
All right. So if you start playing, why don't we talk through this?
All right. So this.
Oh,
So what we
he's
can do
not
is
ready for it.
instead we can remind people, if you are interested, one of the favorite
Has
parts of these
Weirdbeard
town
always
squares
been
is it allows
Aggie's,
people to ask your questions. If you do have a question, if
interlocutor?
you'd like to be able to be invited on stage, you want to talk to Aggie because you definitely don't want to talk to me, make sure you use that
Who
raise
was
your
it
hand
before?
function right there in Discord. We'd love to be able to get you on here and
None
talk
of your
to you a little bit
business.
Okay,
So I'm just gonna.
that's
That's
fine.
subsection.
I'm like holding
something
back
or
tears,
other of the
just like so
TNC.
freaking pumped for this thing.
I respect
I think
the TNC.
it's awesome.
Tits and cock.
Very much so.
Okay.
13, 14,
So we're
Immense
waiting for
respect.
Clown so that we can play.
8, 9, 34. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Divided by
This
6.
video and kind of talk through it. Why don't you, like, while we're, can anybody see the screen at all, or they can't?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Can you get a screenshot and
Or
just
do you
put
just
that-
want to play it out of Discord?
No, we should do this the right way because we want
Okay.
this thing streaming so that
Ooh,
people
you're right.
that see this later can see it.
Nice and big and sexy. Also
Yeah.
known as Aggie's nickname.
Big and sexy.
All right, here we go.
Right.
Yeah, no.
You can play the
I want to
thing.
vomit.
Well, there's no what can you annotate this and just kind of talk about what he's doing?
Yeah, so right now he's putting a Rooney on the power core slot and staking it there so that it is going to be able to start producing grain. As you can see, you can toggle with either just the Rooney or adding a power core as well. Up top is that power core. And now he's going to stick a couple different cards to start working his land. A Shinlo, and as you can see, it's showing, hey, I'm going to fill it in here, and it's showing what your PP or production points are. So that Cryptmancer has 50,000 PP. You're able to sort your different collections, and it shows you, hey, this is going to be the best for where I'm at. Shows you all kinds of different things, not only by quantity, rarity, what foil, the BCX. Great things. At the end, you see it says to do. That's a just placeholder that we currently have. That this is an older build because it will show you how much grain it's producing per hour and the last time that you had it staked. So it's super exciting to be able to see. This is again though on a test server. There's no way that Hardpoint or anybody else has cards that look like this.
Excuse you, sir. I know
Except for you.
I know one person that does.
But as you can see, he's filling up all of the worker slots there. Your title, because again, it's prefix titles that aren't making it in. Your main titles are still able to be in there. And it shows you the percentage boost. So, hey, I'm going to put the Burninator on there. And it adds a 50% production increase as well. You also have the artifacts at the end. Artifacts are your totems. So we'll get to that in just a second. Hey, look, we have an epic totem. So we're going to stake that epic totem on there. All able to be sorted.
Oh, so there's that claim totem button. So he doesn't go through it here, but you guys currently nobody has an epic totem. Currently they have epic totem claims. You're gonna have to claim your totem first.
And as you can see, it showed what you were currently producing and then what you're going to be able to get when you're done producing. And then boom, that's your lineup. That's everybody that's working and currently on your land. And then he'll go back through. We have really easy to clear everybody. So hey, I hate all these people. Boom, gone. Oh, I want to slot them back in. You can do that. It makes it really easy. We made sure that we wanted to have this so that it was it's obviously like not new player friendly because this is pretty advanced stuff, but it does mean that, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be able to figure out how to move them around and make the best choice of what's going to be on your land. You can select between which Rooney you also want staked. And again, whether you want the power core or not, you're able to toggle pretty easily. It's just a little plus button that's above the power core slot. And what I really like is if you look, it also has the box that shows what your current production was and then what it'll change to once you're done updating and dropping those new creatures on your land.
And then the other thing I like about it is that it works.
Yes. Big, 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 big. And so yeah, we're just pretty much rolling through it there. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. Hopefully players are able to feel good and see that it's a real thing and that we're not just saying that land is going to be here in a couple of years and then have it be like, oh, JK, doesn't really work. Like, again, we have all of the staking and all of the kind of like behind the scenes work, and now it's just how do we make it look really, really cool?
To a very significant degree, and again,
every plot gets.
It feels like the language is purposely disingenuous and manipulative. And that really bothers me. Not that I should be surprised, but like, yeah.
It's utilized. We're going to need 750,000 max level cards. That's a little bit more than 3/4 of all the cards in the game. So some people have been talking about, hey, we need. Oops, did I freeze?
You're here.
Okay.
No, you're not.
Okay. I'm just a tree. I've been replaced by a tree.
That's how you know that you're truly Zen. Is Aggie has turned into a tree.
Yeah. I'm now translucent or something. So I don't even remember what I was saying, but and then so we have the different work sites. Like, what if I want to switch between work sites? What does that look like?
In what sense?
So I built the first week I decide, I'm not going to get any grain. I'm just going to use the grain that came with my starter kit. And I'm just going to full on mine SPS. But at some point I probably need to actually get grain. So then I want to go switch from SPS mining to grain mining. What does that look like? How do I switch my
grain mining?
work site?
I think that would be a better question for Farp than it would be for me. It's a little technical and I'm slow in the head.
No, maybe Farp can come on. But my understanding and what I've seen is that it takes 24 hours to switch, and you basically just need to tell the interface what you want it doing. So you'll lose production for 24 hours, but then you're back to producing.
Cool. Well, again, the one thing that we didn't want to do while designing a lot of this is, again, make it so that you feel like once you've gone down one path, you can't also do other things as well. I think that was some of the fears that I've read from people, is that they felt like, if they said, I started with research and I realized that research isn't what I want to be collecting or developing, that your resources are sort of, locked in. And that's not the case. We encourage people to be able to fluctuate and meet the market wherever they think it's best.
But you're only doing research if that's the land type that you have. And if you're doing research, then you don't have the fucking option to change to farming grain on that land, right?
Wait, what? I thought everyone could do research.
No, if you have occupied lands, that's where you're farming SPS. If you have magical lands, that's where you're doing research. If you have normal lands, that's where you're farming grain. That's it. Like, it is locked by your fucking land type.
Oh, wow. I was not aware of this.
I mean, that's at least my understanding. I could be wrong.
Steven?
My understanding is that you get a bonus for research on magical land. You get no bonus for anything on regular land, and you get you can only do SPS on occupied land. So you can only do SPS on occupied land, but you can choose magic or grain on other land types, but you need to... It's going to be all fucked up when you start building buildings. and whether or not you can demolish those buildings to specialize the land, because you could do magical research on non-magical land, but the production
Okay.
value will be lower. But SPS is only occupied, from my
Okay.
understanding.
And see, I knew that part, and I guess I had just kind of extrapolated the rest. So, okay, I guess that makes sense.
All right.
But in all
Okay,
honesty, we'll know definitively on whenever they release it to Mav's server and I have a play.
Yeah, likewise.
I can't say that.
No, but thankfully you get to hang out with two people who do. So.
Very true.
I was about to ask if we have anybody that wants to come on air. And it sounds like our very own Clayboy wants to be here.
Clay.
So let's go welcome Clay, and we can all talk in
Yeah,
a
this
low
is as far
voice
as I
and
go.
see what Clay is interested in.
Oh, Clay.
And he's server muted or something. Let's get rid of that. Oh, Mr. Clay, how are things? I can't hear him. Can you hear him?
I cannot either.
Because
Yeah,
things are not well.
this is usually the problem. My voice is like super low, so nobody can ever hardly hear me.
All right. Well, we got you loud and clear. So, Clay, how are things? What are you up to, Clay?
Actually, things are going pretty good. I'm not sure, Egg, are you aware that we have a SPS DAO and there has been a lot of activity recently?
Yeah, I've seen a fair number of a flurry of proposals, a flurry of votes. I decided to not touch that one with a 10-foot pole and just let the community do what they want.
About fucking time.
I don't know. Where do you? Are there things that you want to share about those particular proposals?
Honestly, I think the most interesting thing to me, and whenever this all started, I was honestly not expecting things to go this way with the modern bot ban and everything. Like, honestly, it felt like to me most people were just kind of like resigned at the point where it's like, just let the bots auto farm. But, I think it's really interesting, especially when you consider that over, 2/3 of actual staked SPS, not just like the little players, where people are like, it's just the little guys that don't like how things are. But, like vested players seem to really want these changes, right? So like we're now seeing like the modern bot ban. We quickly saw like a lot of support for not only like a extension of that ban into tournaments and brawls, but we also ended up seeing, it was a bit more contentious, but the Battle Helper ban did get passed too. So, I'm curious, like one of the problems with the proposal is and this was a lot of people's criticisms, is there essentially suggestions for the team, and like we can figure out, what we want to do as far as like enforcement and detection goes. I'm just curious, like how do you personally feel? I mean, like, so since the community is saying they want this, I mean, are you, as CEO, like, are you okay with at some point, not before land or anything, but like, at some point in the not too distant future, like maybe we can look into some ways to implement these?
Yeah, I mean, I've used the term servant king before. That is what I think of as my role. My role is to help make sure that this company is profitable, so that we keep building, so that the assets are secure on the chain. But I make very simple decrees, and I say this is what is the biggest priority in this business, given the information that I have. And then it's really up to this community and this company to figure out exactly how to handle not just my priorities, but the priorities of the team overall. And so my goal as in working with the DAO and working with the community is like, as long as this thing is not life threatening to the business, where you're like, if the DAO voted that Splinterlands could never go sell card packs again, that would kill our business, at least the way that we have it now. So I would vote against that and fight that. But as long as it's not like business killing, then my goal is going to be to go help and enact the things that this community wants. And that's true even if I don't particularly want them or like them. I'm fairly neutral on the bots. I don't hate them. I think that it's a tool, and some tools can be used well and some can be used poorly. But I recognize that something like 70% of the stake doesn't want to hear. So I'm going to go help the people that own this stake and try to execute on the community's vision of what this thing should look like. This is not the Aggie show. I am not some like tyrant emperor. my goal is to go serve this community to the best of my ability. And some things we'll have to figure out where that falls in priority. You know, I'm not going to go put banning bot helpers in front of getting land out. But you know, we take it seriously. I think everybody in this company takes what the DAO wants very seriously. So we'll make changes where appropriate, when appropriate, and there's already people that are trying to talk through what's this look like and what are the stages of this look like. And I think that's totally. I'm happy with the way that things are going, and happy with the way that people are kind of talking about it internally. So, God bless. And these two, some of these things I'll feel like particularly strong about and say this is the way it has to be. This one is a fairly technical discussion. How do you detect these? How do you deal with them? How do you block them where appropriate? And that's not stuff that's in my wheelhouse. So I'm going to let people that are better experts than me handle that. So if you ask me about it, I'll be like, I don't really know, but it's going on somewhere. I've authorized this, and it's in the workflow.
Yeah, I would also say that as always, a lot of the things that we're looking at off of these proposal DAO votes is it possible? That's the way that I sort of see them, is we are being asked to do a thing, and that we shouldn't we don't need to have extremely perfect solutions, because that's what we have such a wonderful team of people here for, is to be able to say, how do we do this and how do we do it right? And if it's unable to be done right, then I feel like that's a conversation that we'd be able to come back and have. But really, the proposal DAO votes show that it's a priority that the community is interested in. Sometimes when we are working on things and developing things and doing all this stuff behind the scenes, it feels separated from, well, we're guessing kind of how players feel or what we think would be in the best interest of players. And these proposal votes are a really good litmus test of being able to tell us definitively, hey, this is what the community base sort of wants, or what they expect.
Why?
Because it's been appropriated from actual scientific discourse into every field.
That's true.
It is, but at the same time, I feel like, it fits.
You know what I hate?
The dictionary definition of litmus test is a test for acidity or alkalinity.
Well, these motherfuckers make me feel acidic, so...
What they need to do is do a assessment for salt.
True.
pH.
Well, pH is linked to whether something is base or acid.
Yeah, and I feel like, in all honesty, these are some basic bitches.
But yeah, you hear people commenting on, oh yeah, tomorrow's match against so-and-so team in the World Championship of whatever the fuck is going to be a real litmus test. No, that's incorrect use of language. Thank you very much.
Could it be a crossing of the Rubicon?
No.
Do you dislike figurative language?
This is beyond the pale to cross the Rubicon.
I have to say, honestly, have they gone? They haven't gone to the video yet, right?
Yeah, we're through the video. Video was before Clay.
The underwhelming, shitty video of that basic ass UI.
Yeah.
It's like, Steven, do you think that a lot of the long-term Splinterlands players are basically going to be creaming themselves? And I'm not trying to be pejorative, even though it's going to sound like I am, creaming themselves over the fact that land is released, even if land is a piece of shit?
Did you hear the part about where he said he was tearing up at seeing the interface?
Man, I trained you well. You should be a politician.
What?
I said I trained you well in evading questions. You should be a politician.
I don't recall. I've never met this man in my life,
Back if we are,
which is a
something
true
like this.
statement.
Yeah,
Fair.
I do want
Yeah.
to say one thing. After the
Because
last
you're a woman.
proposal and like we implemented
Exactly.
what I guess I
And I
consider
have
like
the
a phase
paperwork to
one
prove it.
bot band. I will say I think kind of like watching
It
the
says right here that
socials,
you're a little
interacting and
bitch.
just
I'm a little autistic bitch.
Oh, yeah, my apologies.
No, you're a little bitch on the spectrum.
forward. Overall, it
On a
seems
little rainbow.
it's pretty
On a little
overwhelmingly
tiny
positive
rainbow.
support for the changes. No, I'm not like got blinders on.
I'm a little
There are some
pony.
like vocal people that really don't like it, and I get it, right? Like they're used to things
I want to
being a
be
specific way.
reincarnated as a house
But
cat.
I would say like it does seem like overwhelmingly people are happier with those changes. So I am interested to see how this kind of like shapes over time. But like the more I think about it, I think a lot of the problems of like why bots even like ever really needed to exist is there's just not like passive ways to use your cards, like a passive stream or circle in the economy. And I really think like land, especially once land surfing becomes available, it's going to give people more than enough places to go put cards and earn on them. I mean, I think like even if you look at people like look at Ag, right? Like look at like Matt Clark, like these people that have regions, and there's like I know Matt Clark has a lot of flesh golems, but I don't think he has enough to cover all those castles. You know what I'm saying?
And just for the record, I'm not entirely positive I have enough cards to fill a region. I have what I'd consider a giant collection of cards. The last time I checked, it had 25 million production points that were part of it. I think that's a hefty collection. Zircon was sharing that his
He
was
has
something like
25
5
million
and
production
these are,
points.
like,
How much do you have?
I'm just checking. I have 1.63 million production points.
Damn. It's a big difference. You've got
It
a
is.
massive fucking collection. I wonder what Gold Matters got.
You can look it up. Just look at
I
their
could,
peak
but
monster.
I'm not that into
pretty
it.
big whale. So
Yeah,
um,
know the feels.
that's a healthy amount of cards, and even with that healthy amount of cards, I'm not sure that I have everything I need for the region. So there's going to be a lot of
Well,
there's going to be
it
a lot of
probably has
scrambling.
enough for a region,
People,
considering I've got enough for a tract, and I have
Yeah.
1.6.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not to optimize.
Oh yeah, not entirely, but there comes a
Gold
point where
foil
it's kind
alpha legendary promos.
there comes a where you're like, this is enough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about you boys, but I've got plenty of fucking screws in my shed, and I'm not about to go buy new screws
Unless I absolutely fucking have to.
or need a specific type of screw for a specific function.
Yeah.
Exact.
You bet I'm going to use different colored drywall screws of the same length to mount something into drywall.
When we were cleaning up my grandfather's
One may
tool
be
bag
wrong, the
before we
other one
moved
may-
here, he had tobacco cans full of mixed and unsorted screws that he had used.
There comes a time in every man's life where you just upend every container in your shed onto a workbench and you manually sort your screws, or you are not a man.
I guess my grandfather wasn't not a man.
Oh, he'd probably done it 3 or 4 times before. He just hadn't
Yeah.
gotten back around to it.
Possibly.
After you get them all sorted, they still aggregate back into one lump.
Yeah,
Yeah, and to be fair, he had about 12 like big tobacco cans full of them.
that's why a man's shed can never truly be pristine. It's entropy.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can get it nice, but then the next time you go in, you're fucking it up.
And your wife is not going to sort your screws for you in most cases.
No, they just got loose.
Yep.
We're going to do the best that they can
Loosened
with the budget that
gradually.
they have. to go get the cards that they need, the
Or suddenly in some
the
cases. I
DEC
guess.
that they need, the
I
titles,
don't know.
the
I've never
totems, the
experienced
Rooney.
a
There's a lot of
rapid
crap that you need in this
rapid
game.
onset fastener failure.
All right, well, fuck you too, Bit. I don't even know who's live right now, but he just typed in Splinterlands TV chat. Easy there, Rick. No need to yell.
Game to sort of maximize the amount of stuff that you get, and you know, the region holders, which are really the whales, they're going to fight. There's no other way around it. You're going to fight, and one thing I noticed just in my own personal behavior, you know, not all my cards would rent, and then when they did rent, you know, I wasn't always happy with the price,
I just
but
typed
it's what I
classy.
got. Here, what's going to happen is we're going for, if you have these cards, if you have this stuff, you're going to place it on land. I mean, I'm not going to rent my cards to you guys. I'm going to go work my land. So it's going to be kind of funky in the rental market. It's not going to be oversupplied like it was before. Or at least that's where I think it's trending. I don't want to claim to have any kind of crystal ball.
Get rid of Nifty.
You know, I can at least share that my cards are off market.
Well, you know, I know there's other people.
Oh yeah, I shared this with Kevin earlier. Earlier today, or well, yesterday, some point within the last 36 hours, I started unlocking all of my cards as well.
Oh, mine have been unlocked for quite some time.
Like, I'm not saying that I'm going to sell everything, but I'm definitely getting things prepared because I see things are definitely going to move one way or the other shortly.
No, well, I've been open to the possibility of selling my stuff for many months now. So
Yeah, I know.
For 4 BTC, right?
4.2069 BTC.
What if someone offered you 3.6942?
For Splinterlands stuff only?
Wow.
Probably.
I'm just shooting from the hip here.
That's fine. If you have 3.69 BTC you'd like to send me, let me know so I can create a new wallet address.
I could get it, but I don't want to buy distressed assets.
The chief FOMO officer, I'm rarely what I would consider
But
a hype
it would be
man,
like going
at
to
all,
a
to be
cool
honest.
pair of distressed
I gotta be
jeans.
honest, with all the things that I know are coming up, with all the changes,
But I wouldn't be able to
with
wear
land right
them.
around the corner. Like this,
You
this
could
is
print
probably
out
the
your
most
NFT
excited
token
I've ever
numbers and then sew them into a tapestry.
Hmm.
And it would be the Shroud of Turin.
Would you throw the cost of doing that in?
Look, I have a sewing machine. If you were to purchase my stuff, I would figure out a way to print it on fabric and hand sew it together for
you. So if I give you 100 grand or so, you will print out every Splinterlands card you own and hand sew them into a quilt?
Yeah, the card IDs.
Oh, the IDs, not the full art.
Yeah. The art would be subject to copyright.
Hmm.
Technically, only if you sold it, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, either way, it's only 859 distinct cards. So multiply that by 4 sides. So that's four sewings on each side.
Yep.
859. That's what 3,600 runs of the sewing machine.
Yeah. But the question is whether or not you do a good job.
The question would be, I'd buy an overlocker sewing machine, which would be far superior to my current sewing machine. Be much easier to do.
Is it you that sews or Mrs.
She hand sews if she needs to repair something. I use the sewing machine if I need to repair something.
Oh,
But I am the only one of us that has made a garment from scratch.
which is the one on the cup I have, right?
No, I've actually made her a dress and that garment.
Oh, wow. That's quite impressive.
Sewing is just origami, but with fabric.
I mean,
I
you're
would
not
like
wrong.
Been for this project since the day you asked me.
I would
if
like to give
I'll
someone
work with you.
stitches one day.
So just
If
put
you
that
can
in
fold a
perspective. I
paper
think we're on
airplane,
the right track.
you can probably sew.
I can't really sew, though, but I can fold a pretty aerodynamic paper airplane.
The goal of
I think there's a lot of awesomeness to come before the year is up. But I'm going to try to temper my expectations as always. But I'm quite optimistic.
I get goosebumps, man. I get goosebumps, and at times I get teary over this thing. I'm pretty excited. So, pretty amazing. And thanks for asking your questions, Clay.
Oh,
it sounds like
there's this collection on Wax called Girl Bake Club, and I was in a Discord completely unrelated to this collection that I collect, and some people thought it had rug pulled because it released all its NFTs from staking farms for some people, and I was like, wow, that's really strange that they would think that.
As far as I know, there were three staking pools, and one of them was a very short-term thing that had a specific purpose. It delivered on its purpose, and then it ended to free up those assets to be staked into the other two pools.
I don't remember getting my assets back, though.
you need to unstake them manually from one of the others. In the case of this particular collection, you are one of the asset holders that has many hundreds of NFTs staked in a particular pool, and the
Probably. I'm a bit of a whale.
It's too large for me to remove you from it in a single click, so you have to do that on your own.
Oh.
However, I'm also disappointed that there's been no further feedback to the Completionist Club preview information that was published.
I did not see that information. I've been a little preoccupied the last couple of days, but I'll check. Huh?
As have I.
Oh, I'm sure. Let's see.
Regular occupation.
Some other folks that want to go come on in and
further
talk. Who else do we have?
point
Let's
right
bring them
now
up on.
with
So it's
Tato.
Yeah.
Yes.
going to be Eric the Red, and
I'm
I think
always
there's
busy
one
with
other.
Potato.
And
Oh, Maury.
I
I love Maury.
assured these
Alright,
people that there
let's
would
start with
never be a
Eric.
rug
And
pull.
Eric, welcome to the show.
Well,
Are you able to speak?
In order to rug, you must first have a rug.
thanks.
And I do not own any rugs.
I didn't even know there was a beauty contest.
Sir, I think so. Can you
it's
hear me?
completed.
Yeah, we
Yes,
can hear you
hello.
great.
All
Let's
right,
go.
cool.
Fuck.
All right,
Well,
yeah,
there we go.
I'm done with this shit.
Do you agree with the outcomes?
I'm looking.
Because
Oh, I didn't know it was over.
I do not agree with the outcome at all.
well, that's the outcome.
I think it's a pretty shitty outcome.
The people spoke. The people were given an opportunity to speak.
I voted.
So I think my prediction of the 27th of August is going to remain accurate.
Hmm.
Because it's definitely not going to get rushed into the next thing. They're going to be like, we've got it working on the map server, and now we're just doing the final testing, and then we're going to implement these changes, and then they're not going to announce it on the next town square. They'll have to do it on the town hall. So yeah, 27th, 28th August. That is my logical predisposition. These potatoes have aged for 3 weeks.
Oh, hurry up and fucking post. God damn.
Oh, I need to unstake things. Am I about to get 759 NFTs sent to my wallet? Oh, my staking period has not yet ended. Oh, 9 more days to unlock. Okay.
Sucks to be you.
Or a Klondike bar.
I mean, I don't want to be seen as, taking my customers for granted, but
But you want to be seen as holding baking women captive.
yeah, sure.
Against their will in communal kitchen.
I have my potatoes.
How much oil do you put in the air fryer?
None.
How's that possible?
Allow me to show you the outcome. There is the outcome.
I will check in a moment. Let us see. Does look pretty crispy. Do they have what is that sauce?
Smoky, spicy barbecue.
Lovely. It's a little darker than I would have expected, but I approve of the flavor choice.
Fucking post!
You'd be a good fencer.
Yes, you would.
better than a sit on the fencer.
Yeah, you don't want to be a filthy agnostic. Depends on what type of fence, though. Some of those brick fences can be really comfortable.
Oh, yeah, we are now over 170 hours.
Wow.
Nice.
Hey, Rick, how much ad revenue did you make over the weekend when you left your stream going?
Oh, I have no idea. I should check that. If this will ever fucking post. Like, seriously, that is kind of pissing me off. Like, fucking work. What, I got one account blacklisted, now this one's just banned?
Today's been a wonderful day for solar radiation.
Solar radiation. Good.
I have generated 17 kilowatts of energy.
Nice.
How many of those did you sell back?
I have imported 3.4 kilowatts of energy and exported 11.3.
Nice. Did you guys calculate an amortization schedule for the panels?
Yeah, it's part of the quote.
How long to amortize?
Well, as electrical prices continue to increase logarithmically, more rapidly,
Oh. But what was the original quote, if you don't mind me asking?
like 6 to 7 years.
You'll be dead.
In 6 years.
6-2, not 6T.
Wait, what?
He said 6 to 7 years, not 67 years.
Oh, I thought he was 67.
I would not have purchased them if it was taking 67 years to break even.
Oh my god, that would be hilarious.
The house would be standing.
How do you know? Oh, wait, you don't have basements.
And they do have spiders.
Lots of spiders. Do you ever find spiders in the house?
Yeah.
Do you ever not find spiders in the house?
Are the spiders you find in the house ever deadly?
Not really.
You're
Bro.
at 4.836 scrap right now, Kevin.
Just attack me.
I can't. I just used all of my attacks. Oh, wait. 8 minutes. Okay. I can wait 8 minutes to smack you.
Is my scrap even worth it at that level?
Yeah, it's decent. You're probably not the absolute best target, but...
I'm a target of convenience, and it's consensual.
So the question I want to ask is when GLX land?
37th of never.
they're already selling like coaches licenses in GLX or something, and I'm like, there's no game, right?
No, there's a game now.
Oh, one can actually play. Oh, interesting. Probably the next big thing. Today was the end of season 8 of Realm, Rick.
Okay.
I came in 116th in bronze.
Congrats. You'll probably move up to silver.
Ooh. Need to find a scholar to play this game for me.
You could create a scholar farm.
Yeah, with Realm being worth what it's worth, they would make like 60 cents for the season. Rick, when you were a Realm scholar, how much did you make? Like, virtually nothing, though, right?
No, I mean, it was decent.
Oh.
But it was also before they changed shit around.
Oh, the salary nerf, right?
Yeah. When I played, you actually got Realm on an hourly basis.
Yeah, well, I mean, you still do, but...
Yeah, no, you don't.
Hardly, yeah. At some point, I wasn't even getting enough to cover my mission.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't earning, like, hundreds of wax per day or anything like that, but, I mean, I was definitely still profiting a decent amount on wax. I couldn't tell you exactly how much because I wasn't, like, tracking it, and I wasn't, like, selling on a daily basis or anything like that. But I definitely, like, throughout the course of the season, I pulled out a few wax, probably maybe 50, 100, something like that. My biggest profit on that really came out of buying that pack, getting the legendary caffeine, and selling that, though.
Yeah. They're introducing some new mechanics for the next season, which are making it more of a game. Like missions at sea with progressively higher difficulty or some shit like that. I'm curious to see how it's implemented.
I mean, honestly, it was one of the better games. My problem with it was just, like, it was taking too much of my time.
It is one of the better games. And I mean, I'm not playing nonstop or anything like that. I play like maybe I go in like 4 times a day or something like that. At the beginning of the season, I mean, I go heavy. I went heavy, I should say. But I'm pretty sure I could have done a lot better if I would have been like, nonstop.
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing about it is if you want to do better, that's what it requires.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, no, I can't do it. All right, less than 2 minutes to go, and I can attack, and then I think I'm gonna call it because it is
Ooh,
almost 3.
attack me.
I work
Take
today.
me out. I dare you.
Oh wow, shitty roll. I didn't even get 1 scrap.
Teach it. That'll show you, sir.
It didn't even move you back into number 1 as my top target. You had gotten past. There's somebody else that I've been bashing on more than you. His name is Bashing.
Sounds like an utter twat. Ow, that burned.
At least I haven't been getting hit for fucking like 10 plus as often.
Yeah, that was not ideal, was it?
Within a week span, I got hit for more than 10 7 times.
Damn.
And also a couple of 8s and 9s. Like we got 14 here, 13 here, 10.26 here, 11, 10, and 10.
God damn. God damn, son.
Yeah, going to work hurts.
Yeah, for real.
Tell me
Those
about it.
fiat mines.
The wage cuck is real.
But only 15 more scrap, and then my defense will be going up to 160, so.
Probably gonna make you rich.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Nah.
I hope it does.
I mean, I'm hopeful. It's definitely going to help me hang on to more scrap.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see myself bumping engineering for a while. Because that was the problem. Like I was doing really fucking good at like 110 defense and 6 engineering. I was doing better than I am at 150 defense and 8 engineering.
Say that again?
I was doing better at 110 defense and 6 engineering
okay, yeah.
than I am at 150 and 8 engineering. Because I just, nobody ever hit me.
Oh, yeah.
Because I wasn't getting as much scrap just generated. So nobody would ever fucking hit me. So I would just, do my attacks, claim my shit, and fucking, rock it all.
Yeah,
but as soon as I bumped my engineering up, now I'm earning more, which means that I'm more of a target, and that's why I'm getting hit for fucking 10 plus.
Yeah.
It's really difficult to get hit for more than 10 if you never have more than 10. And on that note, to anyone who might actually be out there in the chat, thank you for hanging. Sorry you decided not to chat, but I will catch y'all again on the flip side in about 21 more hours. Woohoo! I just won on Splinterlands TV. So in the meanwhile...
Goldfoil Kitty?
Huh?
Goldfoil Kitty?
I have no idea. I'm going to go ahead and raid in to Splinterlands TV, and then we will maybe see what I actually won.
Definitely a Goldfoil Kitty.
Oh. Maybe it wasn't Immortalis. I don't know. I think the spin's already gone, so I'm not going to see it, but I will go and check the giveaway tool.
Oh, yes. I forgot. You have the privilege
I don't know.
of being able to do that.
He's a hacker.
A good one, too.
He's gonna hack the planet. Mia, you've got a whole half an hour